Okay, since I do neighborhood and sort of city cultural history, let's talk about Edgebrook and the parish you were at, and what your classmates said to you, and what your perception of attitudes were. Like you told me, you heard stories about how they lived in those bad neighborhoods, and that's what I was in the next neighborhood over. I know, just a different couple of decades later, and it hadn't changed much. So could we talk about what were attitudes at that time, and what was the nature of Edgebrook and Skokie?
Well, those areas were, of course, all white, as they still are, but you know, the attitudes were more racist, more universally racist than they are today. You know, I remember riding the L with my mother when I was about 4 years old, and her telling me about not sitting next to black folks on the L because they all smell, and you know, and never say the N-word because they all carry knives and they'll stab you.
And don't shake their hands, or
don't shake their hands because the color might rub off on you. And it was in the 6th grade before I shook a black person's hand, and I found out that the color didn't come off. And that person happened to be the chauffeur of a guy I went to school with. So anyway, you know, attitudes were bad. My dad, you know, I remember when Joe Louis and Billy Kahn were fighting, my dad was all for the white guy to beat the black guy. And it was just part of growing up. My mother, when I worked at a men's store in Evanston when I was in high school, I made friends with a black guy who worked there also, and brought him home, and my family practically had a heart attack when I brought them home. And at one point,
did they say something, or did they just you knew that their face?
Well, no, they said stuff afterwards. They didn't say when the person was there, but
yeah,
they did afterwards. And you know, cautioning and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, my mother had written to one of my sisters when she was away at school about me working with black folks and being a little concerned about it, her not liking it. And but both parents were dead by the time I got involved with the Contract Buyers League.
So. You went to Loyola Academy, you know?
Right.
When you told me about that in that era, that would be 54 or 53.
Well, Loyola Academy was basically all white. One of my classmates, when I was doing the Contract Buyers League, said to other classmates, you know, Jack is all wrong. The purpose of business is to make money, and if you can make more money selling to blacks than you can to whites, that's perfectly legitimate. I just happen to fully disagree with him.
What do you think made you different? How did you, your thinking wasn't like other people that were around you?
Well, one of the things that was true, I mean, in 1960, I mean, I come off working full-time while going to school full-time, and thinking that if I can do it, why can't everybody do it? And I was preaching that garbage to a classmate of mine at the University of Chicago Law School, a guy named Robert Schwartz, and he said to me, did it ever occur to you that not everybody has your brains? Did it ever occur to you that not everybody has your stamina? Did it ever occur to you that not everybody has your white skin and can get a job easily? um, that guy really changed the way I thought on the spot there back in 1960, and made me think a whole lot differently about all those things. And you know, I was hoping that you know, I could make a make a contribution to society, and was trying to figure out the best way to do it. And you know, it occurred to me maybe getting into politics, maybe getting to the rise to the top in a corporation, maybe being a lawyer. And I kind of concluded that at least to rise to the top in a corporation, or even to get up in politics, you have to subscribe to a lot of values that may not be the values that I want to subscribe to. And that I came to the conclusion, for some reason or other, that probably the best way to make a contribution would be in the Jesuits, and decided then to enter the Jesuits.
Jesuits had a history of being socially progressive, and were some of them union organizers in the 30s?
No, there were some.
And then the draft card
burners
in the 60s, right?
Right. And but you know, they also owned slaves in Maryland, and you know, so it's a varied history. But yes, there were a lot of progressive Jesuits.
Did any stories of them inspire you in what you did?
Not specifically.
I mean, what I heard about was the martyrs. There's someone being tied to a stake and burned. That's what.
Well, I mean,
but maybe you heard other stories, is what I'm asking.
No, I didn't hear any that particularly fell into place in terms of what we were doing.
Okay, let me pause it here.